When you look at the ACC slate, it doesn't look very exciting. That's because there are really only two teams to watch, Miami and SMU. They both control their destiny to get into the ACC championship game. And look, in all likelihood, they're going to get there. Miami could lose at Syracuse next week. They're a better team. They're more explosive. But hey, Syracuse can score a lot of points. Miami's defense isn't very good. Maybe things can get crazy. I don't know how crazy they get in the ACC this week. But at the very least, it is crunch time. And have you ever known November to be a month where crazy college football happenings just don't take place? I hope you don't look at the ACC slate and think that this week. So let's start with Miami and Wake Forest. Miami's favored by 24 points, according to our friends at FanDuel. Now, Wake Forest probably not going to make a bowl game because they'd have to win this game. They'd have to win their game next week. And maybe they get the 5-7 break. But at that point, who really cares? Miami is favored by 24 points. Do you know the last time they beat a team by more than 24 points? Which is what they'd have to, accomplish in order to cover this particular spread. It was all the way back in week 4 when they went to South Florida, who's not quite as good as we thought in the American Conference this year, but is still a solid team. Miami has a tendency to play close games. So I'm taking Miami to win, even though they didn't play last week, even though Wake Forest did. For some reason, this is just one of those games where I go, no, prove it to me, Miami. Prove to me you can beat a team by 25 or more points. That's not a standard for being an at-large college football playoff team, in my view, by the way. If they go 11-2, I think they should be in. I don't know that they will be, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I'll take Miami to win. The defense is just, maybe they got some stuff right during the bye week. That's what we're all watching for with the Hurricanes here, right? Can they figure out that side of the football? Did they do that during the bye week? We shall see against the Demon Deacons in the slow mesh, which I'm not a huge fan of, but, it works every now and then somewhat. So I'll take Miami to win 40-21. I think they knock off Wake Forest. Let's talk about SMU. They go to Virginia this week. Virginia's a better team than most people really thought, but is that making them a good enough team to keep up with SMU? I don't believe so. I really don't. And so SMU, being the lone unbeaten at this point in the season, after beginning the year, going to Nevada, going back and forth with quarterbacks, and struggling with a Wolfpack, I got to say, after that game, wouldn't have seen that one coming. That's why you play an entire course of the season rather than just looking out on paper, say, well, here's what's going to happen. We can talk about what's going to happen, what we think will happen, but then things have to actually happen. Well, SMU's been making it happen ever since that home loss to BYU. They haven't lost a football game. They're ranked ahead of BYU in the rankings. Doesn't actually make a whole heck of a lot of sense. But hey, that's something and not nothing for the Mustangs. I think SMU goes on the road. I think they win here 31-20. I'll take them over Virginia. Syracuse 7-3. Good first year for Fran Brown and company. I mean, a really good first year. Probably have Kyle McCord back at quarterback next year. That'd be my expectation anyway. I don't know where else he would go. And Syracuse was somewhat, not entirely, but somewhat done a pretty good job of taking advantage of a manageable schedule that they had coming into this year. They play UConn this week. UConn, surprisingly good independent. They're going to go to a bowl game again under Jim Mora Jr., but they will not beat Syracuse here. The Qs win 35-20 against the Huskies. How about the rivalry game of the week? Cal and Stanford. Stanford coming off that big emotional win against Louisville last week. Can you call it an emotional letdown spot if you had a field storming that looked like a low-level high school game? I'm sorry, Stanford, but that's just what it was. That's just what it looked like. And look, the fans that were there, hey, they got to see a top 20 upset. Good for Troy Taylor and company. They could beat San Jose State next week and get to 4 wins and have one more win than they had a season ago. That's entirely possible. They're not going to win this game, though. They're not going to. I think Cal wins, and I will take Cal to cover as well. 30-21. Give me the Golden Bears. Speaking of Louisville, they play Pitt this week. Pitt's in a free fall. Remember when Pitt was undefeated? Remember when Pitt was ranked inside the top 20? Pitt has not been able to, win football games. They've struggled doing that. So the Panthers are, they're at home. Oh, wait, no, they're not. They're on the road. They have to go to Louisville here. And Louisville, you go back and forth in this spot. Is it quitting time for Louisville, or is it rally time? Because Louisville's not going to the ACC championship game. So what does that leave for Jeff Brom's team to do? It's to say, well, we got one more game here, and we're gonna hunker down. We're gonna pony up. Well, that's an SMU phrase, but I'll take Louisville 31-27. They knock off Pitt. Tyler Shuck's still been playing good football. They just haven't been playing winning football all the time. Virginia Tech at Duke, interesting game. Not because it has huge stakes, but because these are two teams that are a lot closer together than I thought they would be before the year. Thought Virginia Tech could get closer to the top. Thought Duke might be closer to the bottom, but Malik Murphy, Manny Diaz's defense, that's been a pretty solid combination this year. Virginia Tech, though, second half Virginia Tech of the season is what I expected to see first half of the season from Virginia Tech. And I think they go to Duke and win a close one. I mean, a close one, low scoring too, 21-20. Give me the Hokies to sneak one out. Sneak one out at Duke. How about the Thursday night game? Georgia Tech, NC State. Another couple of teams that are closer together than I thought they would be, because I thought they'd be at different ends of the spectrum this year. I thought Georgia Tech, I don't know. NC State, hey, this could be the year. No, this is not the year for NC State. This is not the year. And Georgia Tech is at home. They're favored by 8.5. I think they're barely going to miss covering. This could be like a late field goal kick by NC State. I think Georgia Tech keeps them at an arm's length distance, but then NC State comes around to cover that 8.5 number. So I'll take 28-20. The Yellow Jackets get it done against Wolfpack there, but like NC State in the points. North Carolina has been playing some pretty good football. North Carolina is almost exactly what I thought they were before the season. Like coming into this year, I wasn't particularly high on the Tar Heels. I don't know what they're going to do with Mac Brown after this year. When you have quarterback injuries in play, that makes it a difficult and less simple conversation for an athletic director to say, well, should we bring this guy back? Do we feel like he can still get us to a championship level? I thought without NFL-level quarterback play from Sam Howell and Drake May previously, North Carolina would take a step back, and they kind of have. But is it reasonable to say what they would have been without him? I think so, because I wasn't that high on Max Johnson before the injury, but they've been playing better football as of late. Knocked off Wake Forest last week. I think they win this week at Boston College. This is a coin flip game, though. This is a coin flip game. I'm just riding North Carolina because I think they've settled down a bit at the quarterback position, and they've settled in a bit to the way they want to play football in 2024. So I'll take North Carolina, again in a close one, 28-27. They win at Boston College. That's the ACC this week. And I think the fascinating part, Clemson plays. Sorry, who does Clemson play? Let me look. The Citadel. Oh, goodness. Florida State plays Charleston Southern. Those are two football games that nobody, and I repeat, nobody, is going to be watching this week. And I have many a times come on this show and said, hey, the SEC cupcake, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. ACC, same sort of thing. Shouldn't have it if you're only playing 8 conference games. That other game needs to be the ACC-SEC crossover, and that should be up and down across the entire league. You shouldn't have Clemson, who will play South Carolina next week. They shouldn't already be done with their ACC conference slate. It shouldn't be the case. But alas, here we are, because this is college football. It's the world we've created. It's not a perfect one, but it's just the one that we've got right now. So those are also football games that are happening. Florida State, bound to be the worst preseason top 10 team in history. I hope and pray, for the sake of those in Tallahassee, they beat Charleston Southern. I think they will. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.